Hi, everybody. Westlake jumping on here. I have an opportunity this evening to interview a lady, Sally Crusan. And Sally is going to share her experience from a class called Nourish Your Life by Coach Nicole Connor. And Nicole's from the Sierra Mountains in California. And she just recently started a program. She is an integrative health nutritionist coach, or integrative health coach. I get that out there right. And she just started rolling out her program, and Sally was one of her first registered, I guess you would call, attendees of Nourish Your Life. So I'm going to start off real quick without further ado. Ask Sally to introduce herself, tell us a little bit about her, and what business she's in, what she does with herself. Sally?
Yeah, thanks, Wes. I appreciate your spending some time with me tonight. So I am Sally Crusan, and I live in Mid-Coast, Maine. And been married for 28 years, have 2 kids. We're currently empty nesters, which we're kind of enjoying this season of our life. Currently work for a nonprofit learning center. I am also a distributor for Zija International, health and wellness company. And I am an abundance coach, and I help people raise their vibration around their relationship with money, which I'm very passionate about. I love impacting people with their physical health and financial health.
Awesome, awesome. So I want to ask you how do you came to know about Nicole, and how you came to know about her class, Nourish Your Life? Sure.
I don't really remember how I met Nicole. I think it was just somewhere, the power of Facebook. Somehow she came into my Facebook feed, and I just really loved her presence, her authenticity, and it just seemed like someone I just gravitated to her and just started following her on Facebook. And then we became part of like the same online community, taking a variety of classes, social media classes, coaching classes, and really just kind of gained an affinity for her and her knowledge and just her mindset. Our mindsets are very similar. So I was just very attracted to that. And then when I saw that she was rolling out a coaching program called Nourish Your Life, I got very excited about that because it seemed like something I needed at that point in my life. So I decided to be in her class.
That's pretty awesome. And who says that relationships can't be built through social media? Case in point, that's pretty awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. So when I hear Nourish Your Life, when I first heard about the Nourish Your Life program, when she rolled it out, the first thing that hit my mind, Nourish Your Life means nutrition, and we're going to get into foods and what I should be eating and how many calories. That's what I thought it was. Maybe you can dive in and share just a little bit about the program. And, I'm finding out that I was way off base, right?
Right. It has virtually nothing to do with food, but it's all the other elements in our life that nourish us, all different components of our lives, that if we're depleted in certain areas, other things don't work well. And so this course really teaches you, what's important, where you have deficits in your life. Is it work? Is it spirituality? Is it, your physical life, your health, things along that line. So it's really looking at your life as a whole, kind of like a pie, the different sections of it. And where do you have to back off of maybe, and where do you need to be spending some more attention? And I tend to overschedule myself, overcommit myself, give myself to everyone else, and then there's nothing left for me. So that's why this course was really, really good for me.
So I have heard tell, because I've talked to other people about her class, she talks about your wheel, and some people have flat tires. Were you one of those people that had a flat tire?
I did have a flat tire. Probably half of my wheel was flat. So, and if you have that visual of driving down the road with half a flat tire and you're just like thumping, 50% of your life is great. And then the other half is like, what am I doing? And we go through that cycle all the time. Most of us go through life, with half a flat tire, and we tolerate it. We tolerate it. And so just through some of Nicole's messaging, it just really resonated with me, where it's like, okay, I don't want to tolerate this anymore. All right, what do I need to do? Let's roll up our sleeves together and, teach me how to find that balance.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You talk about, well, it's something I didn't mention that I wanted to talk to you about before we started this. I kind of gave you an idea what I wanted to ask you. Can you talk about, she has a weekly Zoom in her class, right, where all the people come together and collaborate. And from my experience in classes that I've taken online, that collaboration really is like the missing link. That's the secret potion. That's where a lot of aha moments happen. Am I right?
Right. The same thing happens in my coaching program. I know your coaching program and Nicole's coaching program. There is a weekly collaboration, a time to come together. And community is so important. And when you kind of find like-minded people, it's important to come together, see their faces, even though it's virtual, hear their voices, and get their takeaways from the same material that you all covered, the past week. And, the content of the class is phenomenal, but sometimes the big takeaways is from someone else in the class, what they might have said. They might come at it at a perspective where you're like, oh, I never really thought of it that way. So the collaboration is priceless. And then you develop all these relationships with people along the way. And so your community of like-minded people just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So the ripple effect of what comes out of these courses is just phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, that is a big deal. That is a big deal. So, hey, I want to ask you, to me, the highlight of the interview is point blank, Sally, did you have a breakthrough moment, or was there something in her class that had a major impact on you in your life that you were able to implement that you could share with us?
Yes, I had a lot, but the most profound one actually happened in week 6. And that is the week we focus on career and work life. I was in a job that I enjoyed, but was finding it wasn't fulfilling for me. And I couldn't quite figure out, I just was unsettled with the job. I'm like, I was really kind of under the radar, wasn't using, skills. I wasn't using, some of my talents, but it was safe to be at that job. But through this course, I realized just how small I was really playing. And during the course, I had seen an advertisement for a job just right down the street for me that looked like it would be a really great fit. And it was tapping into some responsibilities that I had kind of before I had children and was more on a career path. And so it was kind of scary because it's like, oh, this is like a real job, not just kind of show up, clock in, clock out. It was a breeze, what I was doing before. And so it was scary, but I interviewed, got the job pretty much right on the spot. I started very quickly thereafter, and it's been so fulfilling. But I will be candid because it's super important to know this. I got this job, it was wonderful, but boy, my wheel got unbalanced again really quickly because you're pouring so much into a brand new job. Other things were starting to go by the wayside, but I was able to kind of reel that back in, let go of some other responsibilities without guilt, and make sure I was keeping a focus on my needs as well. So if I hadn't taken Nicole's course, I would still be in a job, just kind of showing up and existing. And if when making the job change, if I hadn't taken her course, my tire would probably still be flat, and I would just be going through the whole summer, just like thumping my way through every day. So that's a very profound component of what came out of this class.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, it really had a dramatic shift. It impacted your life in a big way. Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. And I'll have to say this too, and it came with a 30% increase in my income. And that was another part of my focus of my wheel was, really tapping into kind of my God-given talents and not being afraid to monetize them. And that's an area where I had been playing small. And through this course, I mean, that's pretty profound, 30%
Yes, it is.
increase. So I just don't think I could give higher praise to that course.
That is an incredible story. Thanks for sharing that. Hey, I want to ask you, I have one or two more questions. If anybody's interested in Nicole's class, one of the things that, when you start looking online at different class offerings and opportunities to learn, you don't know much about the coach. You don't know much about the person putting on the program, who's hiding behind that computer screen. So would you mind sharing from your heart, what is it about Nicole that makes her special, that attracts you to her, that would make that you could share with others so they would feel more comfortable about looking into her program?
Sure. Well, one, I know she's really qualified to teach the class. She's she's certified, in this teachings of the class. And she is someone who does her homework like crazy, and she's very, very knowledgeable. She also has just a heart of gold. Her content is very cohesive and professional, what she puts out there. And so I would have zero hesitation sending a recommendation to anyone for her class. And she puts her clients, in front of her and really spends time. She's a good listener, and that's the other thing I really loved about her.
I appreciate you sharing that, because those are important qualities for anybody that's looking at her program or wanting more information about just who she is. I'm sure you can go to YouTube and you can look up her name on Google and get some information, but hearing it firsthand from somebody who's been through her class really carries a little more weight. So I'm going to close this out, and anybody looking at this class, you just said that you would recommend it. Maybe you could recommend it with a little exclamation point as we close out. What would you say to them if they were looking into our class?
Sure. So if you feel that you have some deficits or certain areas of your life that just aren't feeling fulfilled, or you're frustrated with certain areas of your life, I truly believe Nicole's class would be a good fit for you. And the other thing is you could always have an initial consultation with her and get some preliminary information to see if it's the right fit for you at this time in your life. And just the fact that, you could have that type of a conversation with her before even committing to the class, just kind of as a testament to, this is about you. It's not about Nicole filling, a seat in her class. So it's got to be the right fit, and she knows that. And so that authenticity speaks volumes. So I highly recommend her class. And I considered ourselves the bookends. I'm from Maine, she's from California, so we're kind of bookend friends online.
Sally, thank you so much for taking time to talk about Nourish Your Life by Nicole Connor. I really do appreciate it. Some great things that you shared there. I'm kind of anxious to find out more about this program myself. I think I might have to take it as well. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. You have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.